Okay, so here's a video on how to use Redrum, the drum machine module in Reason. I've already got a Reason default new project set up, so I need to bring up Redrum. Now, as before, I'm going to go to Devices from my tool window. I could create instrument and browse through. However, I know specifically that I want to use Redrum. If I choose an instrument by browsing for it, I might bring up a sampler for a drum kit or something else. But in this case, I definitely want Redrum. So instead of clicking that, I'm going to go down to my list of instruments. Here are my instruments. And down at the bottom of the instruments is Redrum Drum Computer. I could either double click on that, I could click create, or I could just drag it into my rack and it has loaded it in. If I want to check any cabling, make sure it connected correctly, I can of course just hit the tab key. Flips the rack around, and I can see, yep, it's coming out of Redrum into input, stereo input stereo input of the mixer. Flip that back around. All right, so with Redrum, the way this works is I have up to 10 instruments, that is drum kit instruments, that I can program. If I want to hear what each instrument that is assigned currently, I hit the play button at the top of each little strip. Etc. If I don't like this kit, I can browse for a new one. I could go up or down with these arrows, or I could click on this folder to bring up the browse window. Notice that it defaults then to Redrum drum kits as opposed to all instruments. I can choose, it has 5 preset drum sounds right here, or also of the other categories that you might want. So for example, if I want electronic kits, double click on that folder. I now see the electronic kits. I could just click once to select it and then play it on my keyboard to see if that's the sound I want. Use my arrow key to move to other kits. I'll use that one. Click OK. And now it's loaded up those sounds. Okay. Now, I could, of course, just record like normal, hitting the record button, hear the click track, and just play with my keyboard. But if I want to program, I can use the Redrum to do that. Redrum shows 4 beats, that is 1 measure at a time. So this is 1 E enda, 2 E enda, 3 E enda, 4 E enda. So you can see the little green space is dividing individual beats, and each button represents a 16th note. So to program this, I need to select the instrument I want to use. In this case, kind of this kick drum sound. So I'm just going to click on, maybe I'm just going to put 4, 1 on each beat, and then to hear the pattern playing, I'm going to click run. Okay, sounds good. Now if I want to add this sound, I need to select that sound. Notice I can still hear my kick drum playing, but I'm now seeing this little spacey sound. I'm seeing that pattern. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's kind of put something in there. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's good enough for now. Now I also have up to 32 patterns, that is 8 patterns per bank, and I have 4 banks. So in other words, I could have A 1 through 8, B 1 through 8, C 1 through 8, etc. I've programmed A1, now I want to program A2. But what I want to do is copy A1 into A2. I have A1 selected, so I just go to Edit, Copy Pattern, or I could just use Command C. Then I go to A2, and then Paste Pattern, or Command V. Now I have the exact same pattern between these two. Whoops. Between those two. So maybe I just want to make 2 a little bit different or add something to it. Add this kind of knocking sound. Do it kind of on. See what this sounds like. Okay, so a little more active pattern. I go back to A1. Okay, So I can see two different patterns. If I want to bring these patterns down as actual MIDI notes, I usually go over to where it says Redrum, just because it's kind of out of the way, and then right click, and you could select copy pattern to track. That brings the pattern down into your actual arrange area. And I can of course play that. And it's playing down here. And I could edit, I could double click and edit and do all kinds of stuff if I want to. But I don't want to do that. I want to actually automate changing back and forth of these patterns. So to do that, I'm going to get this rewound back to the beginning. There we go. I'm going to hit record, and I'm going to start clicking these buttons, and you'll see that it'll start automating my pattern changes for me. So here we go. Okay, and I'm done. It's added, because I had record on the Redrum, it added this region, which as we can see is blank. There's nothing in there, so I can even delete that. Just hit my delete key. But below that, I have a pattern select lane. Here I could record stuff with my keyboard. This is actually recorded me changing the pattern. So if I rewind and hit play, I'll actually see these buttons change. Now you saw that light change. The green box around this tells me that that parameter has now been automated, so it'll do that automatically. It's kind of a neat way to do it. You could certainly do either, but that is a one way to do it. So a lot more you can do with Redrum, including changing pitch of the instrument and levels, various stuff that you can kind of have fun with, but those are the basics. So get to it creating some cool beats. See you later.